What's up, YouTube? Thank you guys for being here. I got the double stream on Facebook going on. So we got 3 stories of the day. The first one I'm going to talk about is Black Lives Matter's blind spot. Second one I want to talk about is my bank account apparently got closed. I'm not quite sure the reason or why they were, doing this, but I'll talk about it briefly. But it's okay. I'm not really that worried about it. And the third thing I want to talk about is a story that I covered, specifically where the virus was originated, was censored earlier this year. So as people are coming in, I just want to let y'all know, let's just start with this, okay? I got one for Facebook and I got one so this one's for YouTube. Facebook, ignore this, it's backwards. Trust me, I know. All right, so this says, COVID-19 Lab Leak theory cannot be ruled out, leading scientists say. So look at that real quick. This is Reuters, okay? Your best friend. And I know Facebook, you're like, I can't see that. So I printed it out for y'all. The difference is I printed it out black and white because I need to save my ink. But it says COVID-19 lab leak theory cannot be ruled out, leading scientists say. I'm going to do a whole video on that. I'm working on it. I just couldn't get it in time for the morning. So tomorrow morning, it's going to be out. It's going to be clean. I'm going to show proof and evidence that Facebook and the mainstream media not only didn't cover this theory or this example, but they actually covered it up instead of actually fact checking. They really just cover up. They're like a cover up organization. Like, don't say that. Don't think that. Don't show that. I don't care how true it is or not. No, you have to agree. They're like authoritarian psychopaths. So they covered up that story all last year. I had a video with 10 million views get deleted. I tried to find the video. Luckily, it's still on YouTube and BitChute and such and Instagram, I think. But they deleted my 10 million view video off Facebook for the crime of actually being right and just speculating on it. I wasn't saying it was this or this, and I'm going to show you later, but I had a video and I said, could this be a man-made virus? Or more specifically, are man-made viruses even possible? And I showed that they were. I showed a clip of Bill Gates years ago saying that one of the biggest threats we're facing is a lab-created virus that starts on a computer screen. That was Bill Gates who said that. And I didn't say that this one was or wasn't because I have no idea. But what I did was actual video journalism. And I just tried to say, hey, is this a possibility? Is it possible? People who are smarter than me with science, you guys should look into this. But instead of looking into it, they covered it up. Now the ex-CDC director, Robert Redfield, thinks that it was a lab leak. You have, Reuters, Fauci even admitting that it's possible. So here's what I'm going to say before I move on, because I have a whole video about it tomorrow. When Bill Gates goes on television and says, or wherever he is, and says that one of the biggest threats we're facing is a man-made virus that starts on a computer screen, you have to allow content creators, journalists, and actual people in the news to speculate on it. Because if you won't allow people to say that, meanwhile, the leading experts admit that that's a huge possibility, you're basically giving a green light to terrorists, you're giving a green light to foreign countries, and you're giving a green light to horrible people in the world to say, I mean, if we do this, that no one will be allowed to question us. And that's exactly what's going on. It's not that I knew what it was, but I was speculating on it, because if they know that it is possible to do that from a lab, and then they don't allow people to question it, you're giving the green light bat signal to anybody who wants to do this, saying, if you do this, no one's going to be allowed to question you. We'll shut down the Western world, and there will be no journalism about it. It's a total cover up, and I have a whole video about it tomorrow. Speaking, I mean, you could just see this. It doesn't need to be backwards, but apparently this is a New York Post. It says Bill Gates was spotted out for the first time since the divorce announcement. And no disrespect, listen, I don't care what people do. I don't care how big or small you are, fat or tall, black or white, Asian, Nigerian, Hispanic, Jewish. Listen, we love all people here. But I'm just saying, no offense to William Gates, but why is this guy allowed to influence our society and tell us to shut down gyms? Shut down gyms, shut down businesses. That's a good idea. Is it, bro? When you look at how many people are dying, from heart disease and diabetes and poor diet, and the fact that most of the people in this country that were hospitalized were obese, most of the deaths were in obesity countries. Is something starting to feel a little bit weird right now? You have like cereals filled with sugar promoting like the LGBT agenda. It's like, we really care about inclusion and diversity. It's like anything they could do to feed you high fructose corn syrup, to get you pumped up on all of their crappy foods and crappy pills and crappy products. It's like, do they really care about your health? Does anybody with half a brain actually think that there isn't something a little bit sketchy going on here when you have Facebook covering up a lab leak theory for over a year? And now they're finally admitting it after they pretty much, destroyed the momentum I had on my page. I was getting like 8 to 10 million views a week. I was being in the algorithm, and all of a sudden they deleted a few of my videos, and then they're like, oh, just go watch Ben Shapiro. Of course you want people to watch Ben Shapiro because he supports mandatory inoculation and banning your kids from society if they don't bow down to whatever vaccine Big Pharma throws at you. So I'm not surprised that they took away my momentum and just said, here, we'll funnel it all to Dan Bongino and Ben Shapiro. No disrespect to Dan Bongino or Ben Shapiro. I just find it fascinating that, me being right a year ahead of time was one of the things that really hurt my page. But whatever. It's all love for me. So that's the first story of the day. We'll just get it out of the way. My whole video tomorrow, please watch it. It's probably going to be 10 to 12 minutes long. I'm going to do a whole in-depth about how Facebook lied and covered up and censored my page for being right a year ahead of time. They're not fact checking. They're covering up the truth. My bank account, I guess I'll get into that real quick. I started a business bank account like 2 months ago because I want to just have a business bank account, and just run things a little bit smoother for tax reasons, etc. And my bank account got closed, completely closed. It got restricted twice in a month. The first time they called me questioning me saying, what do you do? What's your business? And I'm not moving millions of dollars. I'm not doing anything sketchy. The business account was literally just used for, I think, Shopify, just, the hat sales and such. And I told them I'm an entrepreneur. I make Facebook videos, YouTube videos. I'm also a musician. I have, some music income. I also sell hats. I don't think what I do is that bizarre or crazy in a digital world. I think it's quite common now. But they kept just harassing me and being like, restricting my account. Now I'm multiple thousands of dollars in debt with PayPal because I have everything seamlessly moving. And then all of a sudden they shut down my account or restrict it. They did it twice in a month. And I guess I didn't jump fast enough when they said jump. And I go to check it and my whole account is shut down. So they shut down my business account. I'm not going to say which bank. I'm just going to handle it privately. They shut down my business account, and I guess they're going to mail a check to me or something with all the money that they had in there. Hopefully they have the amount right. So I don't know if this was targeted. I don't know if it's because of my political views. I don't know if they're just extra crazy with businesses, and if they think there's something sketchy going on, they just by default shut it down. I'm not going to play victim. I'm not even going to talk about which bank it is, but I just want to let you guys know, something weird's going on. But I'm just going to chalk it up as maybe it's not targeted. Maybe they just, I don't know, wanted me to fill out certain sheets I didn't fill out in time. But I find it very bizarre. I've banked with another bank for 10 years, never had a problem. I get with this new bank for 2 months and they restrict my account twice, tell me to jump through hoops, ask me what I'm doing, and then shut my account down when I don't do it fast enough. A little bit weird, but whatever. You see the smile on my face? I'm not going to let these losers get me down. I'm fine. So, whatever. I'll just bank with someone else. That's cool. The main story I want to talk about today is I shared it on Facebook and Twitter because this is something that happens in Chicago all the time, and it actually happens all over our country. CBS Chicago, it says at least 12 killed, 43 wounded in weekend shootings across Chicago. One of them was a 15-year-old boy who was shot in the head on a front porch in his home of Lawndale, and 3 double homicides. So it's unfortunately, a common theme that kids are getting murdered in a lot of these communities, and especially Chicago. I mean, Black people are getting killed routinely on a weekend basis, and most of them, I would guess, are innocent. I don't think a kid at that age, can really be guilty of that much. As far as even if he was making some mistakes, I'm just saying, like, I'm sure he was just chilling there and just got shot. And what I find just shocking is that there's an organization called Black Lives Matter that I've dived deep into. I found out who really coach them and what their ideals are. They're not just all about race. They're all about Marxism, and they really, see the world in a certain political way, but they hide that behind race and act like they don't have a political skew when they obviously do. But, I just find it fascinating that these people, and I'm not going to point fingers, but you could say liberals, racial activists, the NBA, people who make it their whole life to talk about Black lives and how much they matter. They ignore 99% of Black lives. I mean, if you look at the biggest killers of Black people in America that are avoidable, I don't have the exact statistics here, but I'm guessing the first one's probably heart disease, many of which is avoidable, stuff like diabetes, strokes, obesity, things that plague every ethnicity. And also when it comes to murder, I mean, all you have to do is look at murder statistics and you'll find out that white people and cops are not just gunning down Black people on a weekly basis. It's actually in those communities, gang violence, street violence, and mostly other Black people killing Black people. And this is a narrative that's not convenient for Democrats because, one, they control the city that they live in. So, I mean, it's not a politically advantageous thing to say, hey, our cities are super unsafe and they keep getting less safe and we don't know what to do about it, because they love to fundraise off a George Floyd type situation and completely ignore 99% of Black people dying before they should be dying. So it's not like an edgy thing I'm saying. It's not, I mean, I know a lot of conservatives talk about it, but really, I'm genuinely like concerned. Like, if you actually care about Black lives, how are you going to ignore 99% of Black lives? The NBA never talks about it. None of these racial activists talk about it. The people who launch all these organizations have raised hundreds of millions of dollars off the back of Black exploitation, and they've done nothing to make these communities better. In fact, they just keep getting worse. So people are running away with the money, and then these communities go downhill. I'm just going to show you this. I know you can't read it on Facebook. You know, maybe you could try to read it real quick on YouTube, but I'm going to read it aloud. This is the New York Times. It says, this is a tweet they put out recently. A year after the murder of George Floyd, Los Angeles and other American cities are facing a surge in violent crime, forcing cities whose leaders embrace the idea of police reform to reassess how far they are willing to go to reimagine public safety. So now this idea of police reform, they're a little confused about it, because all their ideas are just making the city worse and more dangerous. Because although I've been, I believe, the victim of a corrupt police officer, I'm not a back the blue fanatic. Like, I like good police officers. I know they have a place. I know police officers. I know people who put their lives on the line, you know, to do stuff. And I love good police officers, but I'm not this police shill like, oh, some of them are forcing people to put on masks. Some of them are forcing inoculation, or at least being just shills for big government and big state to do whatever they want. So there's good and bad police, like everything. But if you really care about Black life and you want to look at statistically like what's killing Black people via murder, it's not police in like these crazy huge margins. It's like one of the smallest percentiles that they have to like wait every few years to like find one, take it out of context and make a huge scenario out of it, when it's like, I don't even like police that much. And I'm looking at all these things they put on TV and I'm like, you guys are really desperate for a racial and political narrative. You can't even find like a good clear cut one. And there are. So it's like, you know, I'm not saying police are great and perfect, because I think there's good and bad, but that's not what's plaguing Chicago. That's not what's plaguing these inner cities. That's not what's plaguing Los Angeles and New York City. And to be quite frank, all of this activism, whether it's left wing or right wing, it's all really fake. Like, Asian lives matter, Black lives matter. Now you have the right wing saying, you know, Jewish lives matter because they're getting attacked in New York City and Los Angeles. And I'll be honest to both sides. It's not the Israel-Palestine conflict that's making Jews less safe. It's not like white supremacy that's making Asians less safe and Black people less safe. It's these cities. These cities are not safe. If your Asian grandparent lives in a crappy part of San Francisco, they're at risk. If you move them to a safe neighborhood, all of this violence, or most of it, will go away. You know, Jewish people are unsafe in New York City and Beverly Hills now because of the liberal city that's declining and filled with crime and bad police policies, and they don't have any sort of desire to actually get rid of it. So if you move your Jewish family out of New York City or Los Angeles to a different city, you'll find that you probably won't get attacked so much. And it's the same thing with Black Lives Matter. You know, people like LeBron James, I think he acts like he's scared to death of police officers and white people. And then he gets wealthy, and I doubt he lives in the crappy part of Cleveland where people are dying and killing each other all the time. I'm sure he probably lives in a predominantly white neighborhood. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure. And then he gets, escorted by police all the time because, he can't go around like a normal person, and he needs that type of protection at certain events. So it's like, it's all just one big show to pretend like they care, when in reality, their blind spot is statistically, I would say, heart disease and these crappy foods and products they're pumping into every ethnic community. And in these high crime, inner city neighborhoods, the majority of murders are other Black people killing Black people. And that's just what it is. So in Chicago, you have 12 people killed, a 15-year-old boy shot in the head, and it's not even going to make major headlines because they don't care about Black people. The media, MSNBC, CNN, LeBron James, they don't care about Black lives. They care about exploiting a white person or a police officer who does something wrong, or potentially take it out of context a few times a year so they could funnel hundreds of millions of dollars through Act Blue and all these other progressive causes, make a huge stink about it, put things on their shirts, act like they care, and then go back to their predominantly white neighborhoods and get police escorted out of every, basketball game because they live a pampered lifestyle and they don't want to live in these areas because they know they're not safe, and they know where they are safe, but they'll never talk about it. I think Kwame Brown has been mentioning it recently. He's a basketball player who's been beefing with a lot of other basketball. He's really giving them the truth with this. He's like, you guys push fear. You're not afraid. You're just lying. Activists don't get paid by corporations. He's like, back in the day, activists were getting, shot with water cannons. So I know you guys are doing fake activism because the establishment's on your side. So, I'm not saying this to be edgy. I'm not saying this to have a gotcha moment on the right wing. I've been to certain inner cities. I've done like mentorship programs before in my life. And it's really sad when you go to these schools and the thing that you see first on the walls when you walk in the schools is all these kids who have been murdered. That's not normal. When you go to a lot of other neighborhoods, you don't have kids dying all the time. But in these high crime inner city, predominantly Black neighborhoods, that is the reality. And it's not police officers and white people that are going in there for white supremacy reasons to hurt them. It's gang violence and other people who are making the community unsafe. Now, in order to really untangle this, I don't mind if they blame white people, just blame the right white people, because there are white people and other ethnicities and celebrities who are using this to exploit them, make their communities worse, and then constantly pump in the mindset that is leading these people to their demise. So there are people higher up the pyramid who are perpetuating this and allowing it and incentivizing it. And if you look at all these cities politically, it's the Democrats. The Democrats control all these cities. All they do is tangle people up. Like, we need to talk about root level health, and they're promoting LGBT stuff on weapons deals and sugary foods. Like, do you really think that weapons companies, and I'm gonna do a video because Dave Smith was on Zuby's podcast. Dave Smith, the libertarian, did a great job explaining this. Like, they're promoting weapons deals that are killing innocent children overseas and killing people as like an inclusive thing. And people on the left are like buying it up. They're like, yeah, this bank really cares about me because they're at the LGBT parade. It's like 7 years ago, you guys are out in the streets for Occupy Wall Street, like standing up to the banks and to Wall Street. Now you guys, they put one LGBT flag on their product and you guys think they're woke. It's like, really? Come on, guys. And I know it's not everybody, but, if Black Lives Matter really cared, and it's not just a talking point, it's like, there are hundreds upon thousands. I mean, just in Chicago, there's probably at least hundreds or thousands, but around the country, tens of thousands of people, a lot of Black people getting murdered all the time, and you never care. This just shows you who their true colors are. They don't care about safety or security or prosperity. Like I just said with the New York Times, they're already admitting we've made LA less safe. Is Minneapolis more safe after their charade? It's probably less safe. Name me a Black neighborhood that they've invested their protesting and ranting and raving in that is super upscale now and really going on the rise. I mean, they're destroying these people mentally. They're destroying them economically. And with the lockdowns, taking away gyms, taking away jobs. I know people that have drug problems, and I know people that maybe had a past life where they didn't do good things, and their job is what kept them in line. I mean, that's a lot of people. When you have a job and a responsibility for anyone, it's a good thing in a lot of ways. I mean, jobs could suck, but you take jobs away and you take away all industry out of the whole country with the lockdowns. You're not asking for crime. You're asking for a lot of people to have way too much time on their hands, and crime probably spiked during those periods in certain areas because of that, because it's not healthy mentally, physically to just sit inside all the time and be afraid to go out. So the liberal ideology being pumped into, the Black community is one of the most toxic things. And it's the one thing that none of these people talk about, because people like LeBron will get on stage with Hillary Clinton and say, this is who I want to vote for. They are false messiahs. They are false leaders in their community, racial community, political community, and they're leading their own people to the slaughter time and time again. And I think Malcolm X said it the most profoundly. He said, white liberals are the most dangerous thing in the Western Hemisphere. They're more deceitful like a fox. And then, the interviewer at one point in a different interview said, well, LeBron, it's not just white people misleading Black people. And Malcolm X said, no, I agree. He said, all these Black liberals who are misleading people, name me one of them, one of these Black leaders, these fake racial activists, he said, who isn't sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberal. And it's crickets, because they all are. If they weren't, they wouldn't be lying to their community so much. I don't know if they're purposely doing it, or you give someone enough money in Black Lives Matter shirts, they just feel like they're saving lives. But we have to get to the core of this. Yes, it's financial. Yes, some of it's economic. But a lot of it is mindset, and a lot of this mindset's being pumped into them by, music and culture and entertainment. And instead of saying it's not a good idea, they keep telling them it is a good idea. And I think a lot of Black men, and even in rap music and stuff, are waking up to the feminization agenda, not just in the Black community, but in all communities, where they are trying to make their men girlier. If you want to be chill and not be like a crazy guy, I don't mind it. Some guys are annoying and like too over the top, but I don't think they're doing this to make Black America stronger, or white America, or America in general, whatever you want to say, stronger. They're doing it because if you have strong men can lead a family at one point. And if you have a good family, it's not going to have a 60, 70% divorce rate or single mother rate. And then you got these kids, being raised by the government and by rap music instead of by their parents. And also, if you have strong men, they wouldn't allow what's happening in the country right now. So they want weaker, dumber people who are more submissive and more complacent, because that's a society that's easier to conquer. So, I think that a lot of people are waking up to that. It's just there's so many tricks and traps in order to lead people in. So they're now realizing, after a year of raising hundreds of millions of dollars in the New York Times, they're assessing their police situation, because the truth is, regardless of what I say or what they say, look at the statistics of Black people getting gunned down, and you'll find that police killings are such a small percentage of that. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's really tiny. And then white on Black crime, does it exist? I'm sure. Is it 90%? No, it's a smaller percent. Most of these people getting killed in these communities, there is no racial or political advantage to talking about it for the Democrats, because they control the cities. They don't care about these people. So, if you have a heart and you have a soul, and you read a story like I read, where a 15-year-old gets shot in the head, which is not uncommon, it happens way too often in these communities. Do you really care about the Black kids? Do you really care about Black Lives Matter? Or do you just care about hating white people and cops so much that you'll ignore any story that isn't about a white person or a cop? That shows me that you don't love Black people, whether you're Black or not. You don't love Black people. You don't love Black children. You don't love Black prosperity. You don't have a heart for innocent victims who are getting gunned down. You just prioritize your hate for white people, your hate for cops, your hate for Republicans. And that's so clear. We believe in the science. We're going to wear the mask for a year because our experts tell us. The experts say, hey, it's time to take the mask off now if you got the product that we told you to get. And they, actually, I don't want to take the mask off because I don't want to look like a Republican or a conservative. This is the mindset of these people. They're just trying to fight Republicans. They have so much hate in their heart that they're incapable of helping anybody. They just destroy everything that they touch. And this could go for both sides. I'm going to end here and then read some comments. It's the same with the right. If you love something and you love the country and you love your community, that's great. But I see the way that both sides get fooled is with fear and with hate. It's okay to not like something. It's okay to hate sometimes, in my opinion, if it's really wicked. But, if they could scare you, they could scare the most patriotic person into shutting their business down. They could scare the biggest libertarian into total submission with enough fear. That's why they use fear. That's why LeBron gets on TV. Fear, 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 fear. Because the more afraid you are, you're not thinking rationally. You're willing to make decisions. Just like people during this pandemic, the fear led to the emergency. The emergency led to trillions in printing and all of this, executive power that they've never had before. Without the fear, we wouldn't have gotten ourselves in that situation. And also hate. Whether you're right wing or left wing, if your hate supersedes your love, you're going to end up just being another liar. I see a lot of right wingers. They hate Ilhan Omar and AOC so much that they're willing to give up free speech. They don't even know that Trump and DeSantis, who I like, have passed unconstitutional, in my opinion, completely anti-free speech executive orders on multiple occasions where, it took away speech and provided fake religious protection for only one religion and not all. But it's like they hate Ilhan Omar so much they don't even notice. I say that. People look at me like I have 15 heads. That never happened. Well, yeah, because you didn't notice, because none of these right-wing blogs will talk about it. But also, you're so focused on your hate for those people, you're not seeing the big picture. And it's the same with the left wing. They hate police so much. I'm not like a police shill. There's good police, there's bad police. I've been involved when I was younger. I feel like, police, they did things that were not like ethical, even to me. And I'm sure I haven't had the worst of it when I was younger, but I'm not a police shill, but like if you hate police and you hate white people and you hate conservatives more than you love Black lives, you're going to end up doing what Black Lives Matter does, which is ignoring 99% of Black people who are dying early when they could be avoided, and just focused on such a small percent, and you'll block it out. I got blocked by a rapper. I'm not going to say who. He's screaming and freaking out on his, and I'm like, dude, I'm tired of playing dumb. I actually care about people. So I'm willing to meet you eye to eye with this, but are you going to talk about like the 89, 90%, whatever it is, of Black people getting gunned down by other Black people? Or is that not even in your equation? Because if it's not in your equation, it's like trying to put together a puzzle, but one of the biggest puzzle pieces you're ignoring, and you block everybody who talks about it. It's like these people, they're filled either with so much hate that they can't even help their own people, or they're just liars. They're just straight up like fake. I don't know what it is, but it's not my responsibility. I just come on here and try to help and be honest, because I just hate seeing kids dying. And it's not just Chicago. I've been to schools where you just see the kids' names on the wall who passed away and got shot. And it just makes you sad knowing that there's communities all over America where this doesn't happen. So, they try to call people, oh my God, you're so racist. You're such a bad Republican. It's like, no, people want to live in safe areas. Cities are becoming less safe. Even suburbs are becoming less safe, because liberals and Democrats, instead of trying to put their foot down and saying no crime, no murder, they act like they don't even see it. And it grows and it grows and it grows because they make laws more lax. You could steal easier than you could ever steal in San Francisco because they changed the laws. If it's under $1,000, it's only this and that. It's like they're inverting society and making it easier for the criminal, easier for the murderer, easier for the degenerate, easier for the scumbag, and making it harder for the small business owner, harder for the person in those low-income areas who actually exceeds. One more example before I end and I get to comments and stuff is Gavin Newsom's running for election through, the recall, and I think he's desperate to win. And one of the things I saw him tweet out is that he was giving debt forgiveness to every low-income person, or that's at least what he was claiming in the tweet. I don't know what exactly the program is, but he's like, if you're low income and you have debt, I'll forgive it all. On one hand, I think that's a nice thing. I think everybody's in too much debt, but one, where does the money come from? Also, what if you're low income and you worked your ass off to pay off $10,000 in debt, and your friend who's a loser who just sat at home all the time was racking up debt? You're now giving free money to the guy who was a loser, and the person in the low income area who worked his ass off to actually do the right thing and get out of debt is now being penalized. You're not giving them the amount of money that they paid off. So what does that do? It's the classic tale of, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you really love somebody, you want to teach them how to fish. Once you teach them how to fish, they can eat forever. But the Democrats just give out fishes because they know it gets vote. They don't want people to be self-sufficient. They don't want people to stop killing each other. They don't want the division to end. If the division ends, they don't have a platform. They're not providing anything economically or, civilly. I mean, their platform is way more embarrassing than it's ever been. All they have is the division, the chaos, the world's ending, the where to, Matt. That's all they have. If all that died down and people got rid of the hate and fear, they would realize that although both parties are corrupt and fake, the Democrats have virtually nothing to offer anybody with a brain that isn't completely mind controlled by all of their, media, which is most of it. So, if you really care, it's gotta be mindset and it's gotta be root level. But all the Democrats do is incentivize poverty, is incentivize degeneracy. And every time it gets kind of bad, just throwing a quick handout real quick just to keep themselves above water, never fully implementing policies and ideas and, strict law. I'm not a big legal guy, but, I would never want to live in a community where people were killing each other. And if I were mayor or governor of that area, I would actually care about the kids. I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to talk about police all year. No Democrat can talk about the murders happening in Chicago. They don't care. They don't care if 1 million kids died. It's as long as they can achieve what they can politically and point fingers to the other side. It's insane. They're even fact check. All the most dangerous cities aren't Democrat. It's like maybe not all of them, but most of them are. That you could look up the statistics. I mean, they're so fake. So I hope people wake up to this, because it's not about left or right, and people get tangled and fight with each other. Like, if you actually care about lives of these people and this ethnicity that you claim to, how in the world can you keep ignoring weekends where dozens of people get shot and kids get lit up on their front porch? At a certain point, you have to care about that. And if you run the city and you really cared, there has to be like you got to put your foot down. I mean, the police aren't perfect, but with police or some way, like, murder is like cultural in some of these areas. You listen to the rap music coming out of Chicago. I love rap music. I even love degenerate music, but like some of the stuff is just like so goony, like too good. It's like, yo, I'm killing people for $1,000. Like it's a culture of like war. These people are in Iraq. That's why they call it Chirac. That's what they call Chicago and rap music. Cause it's like, they just sit on the porch and they're constantly in gang battles, where with that mindset, It doesn't matter if you pump $1 trillion into that community. They need to change their way of thinking, because that's not normal. It's not healthy. And I mean, blaming police and blaming just some random white dude is only going to temporarily make you feel good. And as they suck out what actually makes this community somewhat safe, they keep getting less safe. And I'm going to read this again, and then I'm really done. It's the New York Times recently. I think it was today or yesterday. It says, a year after the murder of George Floyd, Los Angeles and other American cities are facing a surge in violent crime, forcing cities whose leaders embrace the idea of police reform to reassess how they're willing to imagine public safety. They're admitting all their ideas were fake. I used to live in Los Angeles every year. Worse, 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 worse. Democrats say nothing. Jimmy Kimmel goes on television. Trump, 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 Trump. Ellen goes on television. Trump, Trump. They don't care about Los Angeles. They live up in the hills. They go to their studio. They get escorted out. They're on their way. They don't care about what us plebs have to deal with. My area got less safe, less safe, less safe. And the more they lock down, the less tourists come. The less tourists come, people start moving out. Nobody wants to live there. So who are you left with? You're there with the degenerates and the criminals. I watched a street that was totally safe just get filled with tents and people lurking around all the time. I had shootings. When I used to go to the gym, I'd go to the gym. I'd come home. There's yellow tape all around my apartment building. Like, I can't even get into my apartment because somebody murdered somebody in the middle of the street. I'm driving and I watched a chick get literally jumped and like attacked by some dude in broad daylight. We pulled over the car to help and the dude runs away. Like, that wasn't always like that when I lived there. The city went to shit. So anybody that's smart and intelligent and rich enough, or, has the resources enough to leave, is going to leave. And, you don't even have to be rich, because you could go to Texas and pay way less and live in a safer area. But, who wants to stay in Los Angeles? Oh yeah, these Black Lives Matter protests. They just stormed the streets of Hollywood. Did they say anything about all the stores that were shut down for a year? What happens when all of your merchants and all of your income is just they don't care. Liberals are the biggest frauds, the biggest liars, the fakest, degenerates. And of course the city's going to decline. So anybody that's not brainwashed by media knows, yeah, if you burn down your own neighborhood and you implement anti-police policies, it's not going to stop crime. Because if you look at the crime statistically, even though I don't like police that much, the police are not committing all the crimes. That's not what's happening. Not in Black America, not in Black neighborhoods, not in anyone's neighborhoods. If in these neighborhoods that they act like are so, racist, I mean, look at the crime rates. Look who's committing it. Look who's committing it against themselves. Look who's doing robberies. You could see the statistics. The FBI puts them out every year, every couple of years. And I mean, see for yourself. Don't believe me. Look at the facts. The facts are everything liberals say is a lie. They tell you one thing out of their mouth. They say another. They raise money off of your own demise. The city goes to crap. And a year after calling everybody racist, they finally print an article and admit, yeah, everything we thought was wrong. LA is getting less safe. What city isn't getting safe? You destroyed it. No one's smart, no business smart that can afford to get out and can figure out. No one wants to stay there. Why would you? So it's so disappointing, because it's not just that they're lying. They're hurting Black people. They're hurting everybody. And they need to be called out to the point where what they're doing becomes so unpopular, they stop lying. I know they're lying. They know they're lying. Stop lying. So I'm not going to stop. I don't care what happens. They close my bank account. Cool. I'll get a new one. I don't care. I don't know if that's why they did it, but I don't really care. I got time. I got resources, and I'm not, I'm not going to bow down to their phoniness, because real people know what I'm talking about, and fake people can flock to them, and they could suffer the consequences of just being a liar their whole life. That can't be very rewarding. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Thanks for being here. Unfortunately, on Facebook, I'll stay and hang out and answer some comments. My Facebook's been glitching. I don't know if it's a personal thing. I don't know if it's the app. They just updated the app for everybody, so it might be related to that. But I unfortunately can't see any comments. I only see people who are watching, but I can't see any comments on Facebook. I'll look at the star comments. I can see that. But as far as like regular comments, I just can't see any on my phone. And the star comments aren't loading. So I think it has to do with the app. I don't think this is like a targeted thing, but yeah, I don't know what they're doing to me. Someone said Facebook sucks. I mean, you could say it sucks, but still a lot of people use it. I think it's still the biggest social media platform. And I'm grateful for Facebook. We have 1,400 people on Facebook. I still crush it on Facebook. So I love my Facebook people. It's all messed up. I mean, YouTube, look at YouTube's policies. Facebook owns Instagram, Twitter. I mean, they fluctuate with who's worse and who's better, but As far as how bad all the social media is, yeah, Facebook might be the worst with censorship, but I don't know that YouTube is really that much better. Maybe for some people, depends who you are or what leverage you have on it, but yeah, they all have their cons. Someone said people on Facebook are evil. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about all that. I think there's bad people on Facebook and there's good people on Facebook, but I don't know. It depends what you're into. I'm here for everybody. I'm sure Facebook people are complaining too. I just can't see their comments. So if you guys have any comments or questions, I'm gonna try to pull it up on my my computer so I can actually answer people. But thank you guys for the support on Facebook. Thank you guys for the support on YouTube. And to Patreon, I've been busy, but I'm going to answer all my Patreon questions today or this week because I have all the messages, and anybody on patreon.com/raretalk. I answer all of those messages at least once a month usually, but it's tough because now I'm not trying to make excuses, but I have cameos I'm doing now. I have Facebook, I have YouTube, I have Instagram. I'm editing 2 videos today, so I try to keep up with it all. But I also self-manage, which is why I'm able to say whatever I want. But it's a lot of work. Today, when I'm done with this, I'm going to be editing for at least an hour or two. Tomorrow's video is going to be out in the morning. So I don't mind it. Just thank you. I guess what I'm trying to say is thank you for your patience. Anybody on Patreon or Facebook supporters, because, I do a lot of work. I make a lot of videos. I do a lot of live streams. And yeah, it just takes a while because every video you've ever seen from me, I've edited every single one, 100% of them. I don't have any editing team. So I like it. It's rewarding, but I don't know. Sometimes I look at my emails. It's 100 emails. I'm like, my goodness. Even my website, usaproductsonly.com, my buddy came over yesterday and we're working on it. usaproductsonly.com is like a farmer's market it's like a digital farmer's market for USA businesses, small businesses. Every time I do it, I worked on it yesterday. So many cool businesses, woodworking, people making their own like butter formate. I'm like, dang, we got so many talented people here in America. So check out usaproductsonly.com. I've dropped the ball with that recently, but we're going to work on it and advance it. It's just, I got so many things going on, like multiple things I'm working on, but check that out. Cause we're adding like 10 more businesses to that. We're going through the emails. And I'm always blown away by how cool and how successful some people are with their USA business. So usaproductsonly.com, we're trying to create the biggest database for USA made products. It's just taken me a while because I do a lot of this stuff hands-on. I like to do it. It's not like, oh, I could do other stuff. I have an eye for what I like. So I'm not trying to be picky, but sometimes they say if you don't do it yourself, it doesn't get done. So we have a small team, people I actually know and trust. I'm not trying to expand with a bunch of people, corporate America. I've worked at corporations. They suck. Everybody just sneaks each other. Everyone's trying to one up everybody. It's like, I don't want that. I want to work with my friends. So that's what it is. usaproductsonly.com. Let's see some comments. Thank you, Richard. Thank you for the super chats and stuff earlier. I really wish I could see the Facebook stuff. Maybe I'm going to try real quick on, I'm just going to open it on my computer and see if I could actually see the comments, but let's see if okay, I could kind of see it now. Let's see. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Michael. I got it on my computer. Someone says stay small. All right, I got it up now. Now I can see Facebook comments because I put it on my computer. There we go. All right. Someone said big tech has taken over politics and governance. Yeah, I think Ron DeSantis passed some sort of bill saying you could sue big tech or something in Florida. I don't know what's going on, but I saw James O'Keefe was behind him. He had a few people. Interesting. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Rick Ramirez. I see you guys on Facebook now. I got my eye. The Facebook algorithm is not letting me find your page. Can you post a link? Yeah, I'll type it in right now. You got to copy and paste what I'm about to show you. Facebook.com/anomalymusic. They definitely don't like what I'm doing. I know that because they write articles. I found another smear article about me. He was smearing the video where I was talking about man-made viruses. And I never said this one 100% sure is. I said, can man-made viruses exist? And I went, Google it. You can find all sorts of articles. There's all this stuff about man-made viruses all over the place. Like, it is possible. They know that. So that's all I was covering it. I was like, is it possible? I don't know what's going on here, but I am interested in this topic. They censored it, and some loser, I'm not even going to say his name, but some loser emailed me and he's like, hey, I want to do an interview on you. And I said, bro, do you want to just come on my platform? We'll have a conversation because I don't hate you. I don't even know who you are. Let's talk about it, because these little like low IQ gerbil dweeb, like pathetic scumbags, they just sit there behind their computer. They hate themselves. Nobody likes them because they're scumbags. And they just love to talk about you, but they won't talk to you. It's like anybody that I've talked about, Shapiro, Trump, I would love to sit down with them and have a conversation. And if they asked me, I'd be like, sure. This guy, he didn't talk to me. But then he wrote this crappy article being like, anomalies talking about man-made viruses. It's like, yeah, and what, bro? And what? And what did I say that's right? You can't say anything I said was wrong because it's all true. What I said, I was just explaining the origins and the history of when man started being able to create viruses and which one's on record, mainstream news. This is all mainstream stuff I'm talking about. And he writes this crappy article about me, smears me, and now I'm wondering if he has to retract it because what I was covering is now being covered by Reuters and stuff. But I would call him out by name, but I feel like he's such a loser and he's so unpopular that no one even knows what article I'm talking about. So it's like, you know, he writes an article, probably gets 500 views. It's like, I don't have time for this loser, but he's lucky because, you know, if they put it on a big enough level, I'll make a video about it. They hate talk. How come these people won't talk to me? They want to write about me now so much this year because I'm doing well on Facebook. I'll sit down with them and have a friendly conversation, but it's not going to go well because everybody who watches my videos, I source everything. Like, I'm not the one to mess with. I don't just make up theories. Any video I have talking about something, I'll use 20 articles, Washington Post, Reuters, CNN. I'll give them their own sources. This isn't coming from Breitbart or Alex Jones or Fox News, the people you hate. This is coming from you. You said this a year ago, and now you can't even face what you said yourself. It's like after a year of calling everyone racist, New York Times is now like, well, a year after the murder of George Floyd, Los Angeles is becoming way more violent. I wonder why. Maybe it's because you spend your whole life hating conservatives who tell you the reason that it's happening, and you constantly just do backwards, disgusting, degenerate things that make everybody who lives in your community less safe. Maybe that's what happened. And if I were to say this last year, I'm risking censorship. I'm risking being called racist. I'm risk being called a conspiracy theorist. And then they just lie, make everybody's life worse. And a year later be like, actually, yeah, if we abolish or defund the police, it's not going to fix the problem. Oh yeah, good luck. Abolish the police in Portland. Oh yeah, it's going to be a beacon of hope and everybody's going to move there. No, all these little dweeby liberals are going to get overrun by street criminals. And unfortunately, that's what they deserve if they got rid of the police, because they're not, strong or competent enough to defend themselves. So they hate the police so much. Oh my God. Yeah. What do you think happens if that happens? Oh, good idea. Yeah. Try that in Portland, dude. Totally. Yeah. Let's burn down a Starbucks. Oh, it's like, you guys are so sickos. Like, they're burning down Starbucks thinking it's, oh, we're fighting the system. I don't even like Starbucks, but it's like, now what? Everybody that's smart will leave the city. Everybody that's wealthy leaves the city. Anybody that wants to live in a safe area leaves the city. And who are you going to be left with? You're lucky you have police officers, because if you didn't, half of these apartment buildings would probably get overrun within a month. These people are so dumb. It's nutty. But you can't tell them ahead of time. They have to wait till they mess up for 3 years and censor you. Then they admit it. Oh, yeah. Actually, where is it? Reuters. I mean, I have a whole, you think I'm playing with them? I mean, this is like low technology stuff, but I like a good printer. I like a good book. I don't have Kindle. I just buy the book. I like paper. Okay. Look at this. COVID-19 lab leak theory cannot be ruled out, scientists say. This got my video deleted by Facebook, 10 million views, and it got one of my parody videos with the mask where I'm joking saying, I love masks. They deleted that video too and fact checked it and said I said this in that video. I didn't even say it, but I could have if I wanted to, because it is a theory and it is plausible. And when it's all said and done, time will tell. Time will tell all. It's like, do you think these people have any shame? All these fact checkers and losers like that do all this stuff. Do you think they sit at home and say, I'm fighting for world peace? Or do you think like they're embarrassed when like their theories collapse and they realize that they penalize people for being right ahead of time? Do you think they have any shame mechanism in their head where they're like, you know what? I'm a scumbag. Do you know what? I am a bad person. I'm an authoritarian. I'm working with the world's biggest corporations to censor Americans out of their First Amendment. And they're right. I'm wrong. They're like, do you think they think that after they screw up this many times? Or do you think they just like, I think they just get wasted and, do drugs and listen to like, John Mayer. And I like John Mayer. There's nothing wrong with it. Waiting on the world to change, Gravity, the song about, what is it? Like You're Beautiful or something. I don't remember, but I like John Mayer. Don't get me wrong. But it's like, I just assume that that's what they do. When the cameras go off and they stop censoring people, they're just guzzling beer, just listening to John Mayer say like, your body's a wonderland. And they're like, me. And they're just like, me? You're talking about me? It's like, maybe he's talking about anybody. Maybe he just said it because you thought, I don't know. Maybe people like this, they sit home and John Mayer's like, your body is a wonderland. And Bill Gates is like, yeah, it is. You're damn right. This body's a wonderland. You're like, I run the world. I give so much grant money to universities and media. I give so much grant money that they'll never question me and I'm gonna just GMO meat and soy products, and my body's a wonderland too. It's like, sure, dude, whatever. It's all good. Everybody's body's a wonderland, but at the same time, if you look at the rate of COVID-19, does he care? Does he even care that 78% or so of people hospitalized, according to the CDC, were obese? No, he doesn't care, because telling you to work out might save millions of lives, but it's not going to make money for Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. So why would they tell you to work out when they could save millions of lives, when they could lie you into basically poverty, bankruptcy, complete human isolation, as they just funnel trillions of dollars through the Fed, billions of which land in the hands of vaccine companies, one of which never even had a product before their COVID vaccine to the market. So yeah, your body's a wonderland, isn't it? I'll read a few and then I'm gonna roll out. Gravity, walking. I mean, you gotta like John Mayer a little bit. I mean, he kind of crushes with the guitar, but I'm just saying. We have a lot in common, me and liberals. We both like oat milk lattes. We both like, Kraft burgers with like, fries with truffle butter or whatever it is, truffle fries, like we could all get along if they just stop lying to people and stop trying to abolish the police. We like John Mayer, truffle fries, oat milk latte. Like, I would like Portland if they didn't ruin the city. It used to be cool and cheap, but now it sucks, but whatever. I've been to Portland. I've been to San Francisco. Never really liked it, no offense, but it's all good. I had a good time. Randy said, I wish you were the principal at my middle school. That's an interesting request. I don't know if I would make a good principal or not. I mean, I like to think I would thrive in any job that I took, but maybe not. I don't know. I'm bad with like time. Like, come here. People know this. I say I'm gonna be here for like an hour. I stay for 3 hours. I say I'm gonna be here at 5 o'clock. I'm here at 5:04. I'm not good with time. So if I had to be a principal, like come to school at 7 a.m., I'd roll in at 8:30. I don't think I could do that, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I should schedule more. Should I schedule? Do you guys like that I'm so random, or should I schedule more? Should I be like the Anomaly Show, 5 p.m. every day? Maybe I should. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Should I do that, or should I just keep being random? I like being random, but sometimes I think it's just because I like to just not schedule things. I don't know. Random. All right. I appreciate it. Cause I like to just flow, but at a certain point it is nice to be on a schedule. I don't know. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right. We'll stay random. All right. So we're at 48 minutes right now. I want to keep this under an hour. Let's keep it under an hour. That feels good. I'm going to get to editing tomorrow. My video is going to be on this right here. I'm going to double up. Hold on. I got two things. I printed it out backwards for Facebook. So you can see that right there. Sorry, it's backwards on one. This is what the story is going to be on. Facebook penalized me last year for talking about man-made viruses. I didn't even say this one was man-made. I wasn't like, this one for sure came from a lab. I never said that. I just said, it is possible to do. It's interesting. Let's have a conversation about it. I'm just educating people. I mean, if you watch that video, everything I said is still true to this day. It had 10 million views on Facebook, deleted. It's got like 50,000 on YouTube. Nothing I said was wrong because I don't make these bold, grandiose claims and I don't try to cover up other people. I'm just like, here's everything I know about man-made viruses. Here's where they've been confirmed in the world, mainstream sources. And Facebook's like, don't look there. Don't look there. Yeah, we know, Facebook. We know what you're doing. Do you know what you're doing? I don't know. Maybe. Trey Allen said, you can't be good at schedules and wear a tank top, man. Love the content. Yeah, I know. I mean, I like, especially in the summer, all I do is wear tank tops. And sometimes people are like, why do you? I'm like, it's summertime. I'm wearing a tank top. It's sunny out. I'm not wearing a long sleeve. I mean, I guess I could get a suit or something, but I feel like I would look stupid just wearing a suit in my house. If I wear a suit, I got to go to a studio. I can't just suit up. I'm out here sipping on a coffee, just enjoying the birds and the bees. The bees, not so much. No offense. I like honey and honeycombs. They're cool, but I'd rather see a bird than a bee. You get it. Someone said, what happened to your bank account? I mean, I'm going to handle it privately. I guess not, because I just talked about it. But, I'm not going to even say the bank, but they shut down my bank account. I had a business bank account. I opened it up a month ago. They restricted it. They blocked payments. I opened it. They restricted it again. They asked me to go to the bank, do this. And I guess I didn't do it fast enough in time. I mean, I have things to do. I've been dealing with this for a month now, and it's been slowing me down. So I took a few days and I just checked, and my whole account is shut down. They just completely deleted my account. And I guess so I don't know if it's targeted. I don't know if it's random. I'm going to chalk it up and just say it's not about me. It's about them. It's like when you break up with a girlfriend or something and you're like, it's not you, it's me. Which can be true. That's what, it's like, I'm not even saying it's wrong. Sometimes it is. It's not you, it's me. That's how I'm going to just treat this one. I don't care. Yeah, it's all good. Someone said, tell people to go fly a kite. You know how to dress. Well, thank you. Kite flying is cool. That's a good diss, because then it's like, go fly a kite. And it's like, maybe I will fly a kite. I would enjoy that. Thank you very much. Some kid on Twitter yesterday was like, he said something along the lines of, anomaly, stop talking about Trump, blah, blah, blah. Talk about this. And I was like, no, thanks, bro. I'll reject your advice, but thanks for the offer. I was like, I have some advice for you. I was like, and I gave him 5 things of advice. I was like, run your own Twitter account. Don't talk about my Twitter account. Do what you want to do. Work out, start a business, get a hobby that turns into a career. I literally said that to him, and he was like, thank you. I appreciate it, Anomaly. It was like a diss battle, but it worked out. I was like, instead of you telling me what to do with my Twitter account, why don't you do one of these 5 things? And he was like, no, I'll actually consider that. I was like, seriously, dude. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm like, start a business or a hobby or whatever you do. Stop. I don't need you to tell me how to run my Twitter account, although I probably should delete my Twitter and stop using it so much. Just get a hobby, lift some weights or something. He was like, I actually might do that. It's like, go fly a kite, Anomaly. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely. I like a good go fly a kite diss. Go fly a kite. It's not a bad idea. I got to buy one first, but I get it. Kites are pretty cool. Someone said, I thought you were just taking us to the gun show, bro. No, I don't like dress up for social media. Maybe I should or something. Cause when I go out to eat, sometimes I'll dress nice if it's a nice restaurant, if I'm not busy, but I don't dress up for Facebook this. If I'm wearing this day, I'll wear it. Unless I'm wearing the same thing I was wearing yesterday, then I'll change. Cause I'm like, I don't want people to think I'm wearing the same thing twice. You get out of bed with the same shirt on. It's like, yeah, I can't wear the same shirt 2 days in a row. But besides that, I don't really change. If I'm wearing a tank top, I'm going live with a tank top. I don't put it on just to show people my muscles or something. It's like, I'm just flowing. I'm here, I'm there, I'm lifting weights. I'm doing a live stream. Let me see. Someone said, I love your Twitter account. Yeah, I mean, Twitter's my least favorite platform. It's like a love-hate relationship because you can just fire off a thought so easy. If I go live, I'm thinking way more about what I'm saying most of the time. Sometimes I screw up, but when you're on Twitter, anything you're thinking, you just type it, and then someone types back, and you just get in a typing argument. It could happen on Facebook too, like and you're just typing, and you're like, and my back starts hurting. I'm like, I hate Twitter. I'd rather like not do that. So I think my tweets are pretty solid, but honestly, like I just hate arguing on Twitter. I hate reading people on Twitter. Just never. I mean, maybe this is everywhere. It's like, I don't know. People. I say one thing about Trump, and like they defend Trump harder than they defend the Constitution. You're like, yeah, I don't know why he keeps emailing me about Operation Warp Speed. He's like so desperate to get credit for rushing the FDA, which is a horrible thing to take credit for. And I say that, and people freak out. So I mean, it's starting to make me think that it's like, you could brainwash either party. You could brainwash the left wing. You could brainwash the right wing. I think people got brainwashed by Trump in a different way. Hear me out before everybody yells at me. Stephen Colbert, there's a famous clip, if you could find it. He's talking about James Comey, and when Trump was involved, he said, James Comey has been fired, and everybody starts cheering because the media told everybody James Comey was bad. So everyone's cheering, and Stephen Colbert's like, wait, no. It's bad. And within a minute, everybody starts booing. That's brainwash, folks. You could cheer and then boo the same topic within a minute because people hate Trump so much, they just listen to whatever Stephen Colbert says. I feel like Trump has that power over his own people, where if Trump would have said, I mean, do people have their own brain and own ethics? Like if Trump would have said, hey, we're not going to rush the FDA. We're not going to Operation Warp Speed. I'm not going to fund Big Pharma. I think we should take 4 years to really check out all the trials and, not use the emergency use to put this in kids' faces. I think the entire Trump movement, including people I know who got the vaccine, they would have supported that, because I think everybody deep down is okay with a vaccine company taking a few years to test things out. So if Trump would have done that, all these people would have said, yeah, that's a smart idea. But since he didn't do that, since I believe he did something completely unethical, immoral, and quite frankly, it's going to be costly to a lot of people, in my opinion, people don't even care. They say, no, he did this, he did. It's like Trump brainwashed them into defending an argument that they don't even morally or ethically believe in, that they would have been on the other side. If he came out tomorrow and said, I disagree with everything I did, I made a mistake, they'd be like, see, he apologized. Like, it's like, do you have any sort of, and that's why we lose everything, is because we get bopped by both sides. Trump acts like a Trojan horse, says America, America. Then he ushers in socialism, trillions of dollars in printing, Operation Warp Speed. And people who disagree with all of this stuff will spend their whole lives on Twitter arguing with me, defending a position that they don't even actually believe in. I don't understand it, It's like my whole Hotep Jesus debate. When I debated him, he spent 30 minutes debating a point that he was wrong about. I won the debate easily. And then he flipped to the other side and he said, Trump's a puppet. I knew it all along. Took another side of the stance, lost that debate, and then started just saying, I don't even believe what I say. I'm just playing a role to debate. It's like, so what do you believe then? It's like you criticize Joe Biden. Okay, Joe Biden's a puppet, but you have no problem criticizing him. With Trump, you've never said anything negative because you don't want to, annoy the base or whatever. And you just want to make it's fine. But it's like, people, I don't know what people are doing. It's like, there's no consistency to what people believe because they put their entire stake into defending Trump. Like it's their lifestyle. It's like, I think people need to stand up to the Republican Party the same way liberals need to stand up to the Democratic Party. They're all just playing you. They're playing us like, oh yeah, we're against socialism. And then they all go behind closed doors. Trump, Tim Scott, Ted Cruz, all these people said they were against socialism. They had no problem printing trillions of dollars. And then Thomas Massey was the only brave Republican who said, hey, this is going to be the biggest mistake in American history, because not only is it just unethical, but, we don't even know who's voting on the bill. And Trump used his platform at the time to say, kick Thomas Massey out of the party. He's a third-rate Republican. We don't need less Thomas Masseys. We need more Thomas Masseys. He was the only one brave enough to stand up against the trillion-dollar socialist scheme that Trump and all the Republicans did. But nobody knows that because they'll defend socialism, communism, Operation Warp Speed just to defend their guy. And that's where I'm like, I feel like he brainwashed a bunch of people. They have no moral or ethical or scientific consistency. And if Trump tomorrow took the opposite stance, all those people would they could jump back and forth every day for a week and not even realize that they don't even believe what they're saying. That's not the type of person I am. But I've also made mistakes and supported people that suck. So I have sympathy and empathy, but I think I just politically, I see that now and I'm like, yeah, it's annoying. But thank you, Judy. I appreciate you. Someone said Trump used to be a registered Democrat. Yeah, but I don't want to hold that against Trump because I used to be a registered Democrat. I think millions of Trump supporters used to be registered Democrats. In fact, I bet you millions of registered Democrats probably voted for Trump. So, I'm critical of certain whack things he does, but I don't, it could be a setup. I think but I would be a hypocrite if I said he used to be a Democrat. It's like, yeah, so did I. So, then it's like, I don't know. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt because, even with all this drama, gossip, like I never jump right down someone's throats under personal stuff because I always think, what if it happened to me? Like I try to be as fair as I can because I see so many people get falsely accused. So many people and I'm like, I feel like you're reaching. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that person, but I don't like that. Like AOC, I can't stand AOC. I think she's obnoxious, a phony, and I think she has some real issues. And, she's got a lot of stress. She reminds me of like she must have a lot of bad, you know what I'm saying? Not good energy. However, they're like stalking her when she's at a grocery store, taking pictures of her car illegally parked. Like, it's like, really, you're going to stalk AOC and take pictures of her car? The problem with AOC is the fact that her politics suck and she's a liar. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to do that to somebody just because they don't agree with me. I don't like that because I always think, what if they did that to me? And that's the problem. Everybody treats each other like shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to get a gotcha moment. Nobody actually likes each other anymore. Nobody's looking for, okay, well, you made mistakes and I forgive you. It's all just like destroy, destroy, destroy. And we're destroying our country. I mean, I think the leftists are especially bad at this, but it goes in both parties. It's just like, at what point do we stop treating each other this terribly? Like, it's gross. Please go on the squad. That would be great. Here's what I'll say about the squad. I find them all really annoying, especially AOC. Very annoying, very fake. Ilhan Omar, I don't think she's the brightest girl in the bucket. What is it, Rashida Tlaib? Yeah, I don't like them politically, but I do feel like Republicans spend so much time hating them. Sometimes they hate the squad more than they love the truth. So I've seen, although politically I probably 95.5 disagree with almost everything they believe in, I've seen Republicans take the wrong stance of certain arguments because they hate the squad so much, so my life doesn't revolve around hating them. So I do feel like, although they're annoying, Republicans spend so much energy hating them. Sometimes they end up trying to censor them based off of false pretenses. The example I always use, not to be repetitive, is when Ilhan Omar was talking to Benjamin Netanyahu. She said it's all about the Benjamins. It is all about the Benjamins. It doesn't matter if I say it, Biggie Small says it, or Ilhan Omar says it. Like, do you think that politics is not all about money? Do you think Israel's lobby, AIPAC, has no influence? Of course they do. It is all about the money. Why do you think we're friends with Saudi Arabia and not the other Muslim country? It's like they have more money. They have more influence. So when Ilhan Omar said that, all these Republicans, anti-Semite, they're trying to censor her speech for the crime of actually being right once in a blue moon. So this is why I don't hate on the squad, is because people spend so much energy, they end up taking the wrong stance. She has the right to say that. She's actually right about it. And, I think Republicans overuse the word anti-Semite so much that they end up censoring and not even understand it. So I think that word is wildly overused. And to be honest, in America, Jews are less safe in liberal cities with high crime. It's not some sort of mystery. This is not Israel versus Palestine. This is New York City's not really safe anymore. Los Angeles is not really safe anymore. So if you thought you were going to be safe in Beverly Hills, you're not. Do Palestinians hate you? Probably a lot of them do. But if you were in a nicer area that wasn't, controlled by Democratic police, psyops, would you be safe? Probably. So, is the problem anti-Semitism? I don't know. I think the problem's a little different. I don't think people are just, oh, what do I call it when 12 people get murdered in Chicago? Are they anti-black? Is it child? No, it's just like degenerate population that's murdering each other constantly, and nobody's safe there anymore. Like, there's not a real word for it, but to each their own. Someone said BS, whatever. I mean, think what you want. I don't care. I gotta crack my back real quick. Am I gonna keep it under an hour? Oh, I already blew that. See, I blow past time all the time. I don't even realize it. All right, a few more comments and then I'm gonna get it. Someone said, I hear you, but a mandate's not a law. Here's what I'm saying real quick. People in the comment section, I haven't talked about Trump in like 5 minutes. People in the comment section on Facebook are still arguing over Trump and making excuses for 15 days to slow the spread. Guys, take the energy that you're defending a stance that you don't even believe in and go do something for your country or your family or yourself. Like, people on the Trump side are still arguing about something I'm not even talking about. This is what I'm talking about. 15 days to slow the spread was a lie. Trump is the leader of the Republican Party. When he declared an emergency order, that's what gave way to all this stuff. He did legislate this, mandating it. He might not have mandated it, but he's the leader, the vocal leader, and the party leader of the Republican Party. So when he says shut down, everybody falls in line. And if they don't fall in line, it's hard for them to win the next election. So Trump is absolutely involved, not just with his pen, not just with his mouth, and not just with his leadership. He is involved in the shutdown. He is involved with the rush vaccines, and he wants credit for both of them. So why would you be a Republican or a libertarian or a Trump supporter and spend 20 minutes defending a position where if it was Joe Biden, you would never say that? Do you think you'd be in the comment sections 1,000 times a year defending Joe Biden, saying he's not mandating it? Well, technically, Joe Biden's not mandating it. He's just signing it. I mean, it's not his law. I mean, it's like you would never do this for Joe Biden, but you do it for Trump. This is why, like, I would never vote for Trump. Trump supporters are starting to get really annoying. Not everybody, but it's like the cult mentality is like gross. It's like, take that energy and stop defending tyranny. Trump absolutely was responsible and deserves at least some partial responsibility for the lockdowns. And the fact that you want to spend freaking years debating and defending him, when if it were another party doing it, you wouldn't even spend 5 seconds defending them. It's like, what do you think you're conserving? Not, you make every excuse. Well, maybe he was doing this. Well, it's like, well, maybe you're spending way too much energy defending an unethical position, and you should take that energy and actually try to conserve something. And if you did that, none of this would have happened, because Obama couldn't have got Republicans to shut down. Hillary Clinton couldn't have got Republicans to shut down. Only Donald Trump could have gotten most or all of the Republican states to listen to him, which is what he did. So at a certain point, you know, it's getting so annoying. I'm not trying to be mean, but like, you know, like who are you impressing? Anybody with a brain, anybody with conservative values that actually believes in what they say, they're not going to want to, you know, deal with this forever. It's like, just chalk it up as an L and move on. Someone said, honestly, I can't stand Biden or Trump. Thank you. I will stay independent. You know, some people like him, some people don't, but I unsubscribe to his emails. He's just bragging every week about Operation Warp Speed. As a person, I don't care if you're a leader, as a person, if you're watching children get forced vaccinated or threatened into forced vaccination or else they can't go to school, if you're watching, you know, the military get held for ransom over the vaccine and they can't leave the base and they can't see their family and they can't go here, like the military is being coaxed or at least taken their freedom, they're fighting for freedom while their freedom's getting taken away over this vaccination. If they don't get it, they don't have the same freedoms anymore. We're living in a two-tiered society thanks to this product that Trump vehemently brought here, and he says nothing about it in his emails. He only brags about bringing it. I hate to break it to you, but it doesn't seem to me like he's really a good person, because if you have a soul, you'll at least say what Ron DeSantis says. Trump is selfish. I mean, the fact that you guys lick the dirt off his shoes instead of, and make excuses for this, like at a certain point, you know, you're not going to be on the moral side. You're not going to be on the favored side. America's lost favor for this reason. We don't have favor anymore. Do you think, you know, I believe that righteous people will have God's favor, but we've lost that for a long time. That's why our country is declining, because our country's been unethical and the two-party system is just declining, where it's like, yeah, I mean, what kind of person would allow this to happen to military members and children? A person that doesn't care. So, you know, spend the energy that you guys defend like evil things, you know, stand up to it. Stand up to the evil. Stop being a PR team for it. It's getting stale. It's been a year and a half of just excuses for something that, if it were the opposite and Trump did the opposite, you'd be saying the opposite. If Biden did it, you'd be saying the opposite. You don't believe in anything you're saying. You just defend it because you care about defending Trump more than you care about the truth, science, math. It's like, it's getting so old. Someone said, I agree. And I was a huge Trump supporter. A lot of people were. Of course, he was doing so well for so long. It's like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like at a certain point, your little group is going to be smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's not going to be filled with good people anymore. It's the same with the liberals. Like, I wouldn't want to be around them in political angles. Like, any good liberal that was, standing up to the banking system, any good liberals that was standing up against big pharma and big agriculture, they're not liberals anymore because they got so closed-minded and so wicked. Their little group got smaller and smaller and just more and more wicked. It's going to happen to the Trump side too. If you guys spend this much time and energy defending stuff, like what's his Trump rallies coming back? Oh, Operation Warp Speed was a huge success. Oh, I rushed the FDA. It wasn't Fauci. If it were up to Fauci, this would have took 4 or 5 years. So are you saying that Fauci was actually a good guy? Because actually it's smart to wait 4 or 5 years. It's totally terrible, in my opinion, to rush this, mRNA jab to the public, force it down the military's throats, force it down kids' throats, and Trump wants credit for that. Well, then he's probably, he's not on the path to a righteous life. Like, that's pretty wicked. And I mean, that's not a small thing he did. That's one of the biggest errors or biggest wicked, crimes in modern history that he wants credit for. So it's like, okay, I mean, you could call it what you want. I don't know if it's technically illegal of a crime, but it's like, I mean, I don't know. That's what his whole career is about now. And you guys are going to go to another rally and just like cheer that on. Like, I don't know. At a certain point, you're going to lose favor. Someone said if both DeSantis and Trump decide to run in 2024, well, I think DeSantis will never step on Trump's toes. I think DeSantis is totally like, I'm not going to say subservient to Trump, but like Trump is running the show. And this is another problem. It's Trump's party now, and Trump is on the wrong side of the biggest issue in modern history. So, I mean, the party's screwed unless enough people stand up to him. So he might run again. He might tell DeSantis to step aside, and he might ruin the country. Like, if you can't get on the right side of this issue, you're not conserving anything, which is what he did. He didn't conserve anything. He went further left than Obama and Bush, printed out trillions of dollars, played into the lockdown, got played by Fauci like a fiddle, or just was involved with them and didn't ever care about us. But it's like, I hope he doesn't run. I'll never vote for him again. I'll sit out before I vote for Trump again. So if that's the way the party wants to go, this country's toast. He's not I mean, people could love it and go to rallies, but I'm done. I cannot support what he did. I gave him a year to make up for it, and he's just gotten worse. He sounds more and more like Bill Gates every day. I'm the father of the vaccines. I saved 100 million lives. Without me, it wouldn't even be here. It would have taken 4 years. Do you know why it takes 4 years, Trump? Because in order to get FDA approval, they're supposed to do tests. When you emergency use, rush it to the public, they haven't gone through all that. And to be quite frank, these mRNA jabs, I mean, look at all the people with the side effects that they're covering up. They won't even allow you to talk about it on social media. It's way more than normal jabs. I mean, because it's a synthetic mRNA shot. And the J&J one, I mean, they got it out in what, under a year? Usually it takes 4 years. Like, yeah, I mean, that's what's going to happen. So he wants credit for that. Okay, then history will remember him, if it's accurate, as one of the most wicked fake leaders in modern history. And he wants that so bad. And people allow him to do that. And they brag about it and they still act like it's so great. So, I think in this world, you reap what you sow. And that goes for me too. That's why I'm more focused on myself than Trump. But as far as, voting for that again, like I would never. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But I would like to think that a mistake that's that big, that affects this many people, millions and billions of people, I'm guessing you lose more favor than normal. But I don't know. I don't write the rules in this world. I just personally, politically, I'm not for it. But I'm more focused on myself. I have things I need to do. I don't like to wish for ill on anyone else or look down on them. But as far as like a leader, I will never follow someone like that again. Someone said, that's why I don't want it yet. I mean, here's the thing. I'll just say this. I don't know if I'm allowed or what's going to happen, but whatever. This is the big thing that I've spoken about. I've seen Candace Owens speak about it recently. More people are learning. I'm not saying I'm pro or anti or whatever you want to say, make up a fake name. I don't tell people what to do with their body, but I do want people to know, because I think this is one of the biggest red flags in modern history that should be addressed by Trump, DeSantis, and everybody. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene maybe said it. She's the only one. Not just this one under the PrEP Act, but a lot of vaccines, they passed a law or some sort of bill or order, decades ago, taking away liability. So anytime you see a pill commercial, what do you see? Hey, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. They know that when you take a pill, it's not a one size fits all depending who you are. So there is going to be side effects for certain people. That's why they talk about it, because the companies have liability. They have to tell you, because if something happens to you and they don't tell you and they don't warn you, they could get sued. Vaccine manufacturers are immune from liability. It doesn't matter what happens to you. They don't care what happens to you because they don't have to care, because financially they're not liable at all. So every time I watch TV, all I see on the television 20 times a week is, have you taken this product? Did you take this pill or this product that we told you was safe that ended up not being so safe? You're entitled to compensation. You're entitled to this. They do that because that's liability. I mean, you're liable if something bad happens. With vaccine manufacturers, they're not liable. So if you look at VAERS, the media will say, well, that's not real. That's fake. I mean, it's not confirmed. Okay. Well, all I'm saying is they won't cover anything that happens to anybody. Now they're talking about some kids are having problems. A few kids are having mild problems. Well, a few people are having major problems, and it's more than a few. And there's a lot of weird stuff going on. And there's a lot of people saying, Jimmy Dore said, I got my Moderna, my second shot a month ago. I still feel it. Chelsea Handler puts up a thing and says, I can't hear out of one ear. You could act like that's normal or it's a breakthrough, but really what it is the manufacturers have no liability for what happens for you, and they clearly don't give a shit. That's why life expectancy in America is going backwards. That's why, obesity is growing. That's why people are dying from heart disease and they don't care. That's why opioids and fentanyl are killing people and they don't care. You think they care about your health, just jacking you up with high fructose corn syrup and sugary, cereal with LGBT flags on it? These people clearly don't care about your health. And when it comes to this, they don't have to care because they're not liable. So everybody should know that. If you take anything, whether you get it or not, people need to know that the company's not liable for anything that happens to you. For me, that's a red flag. I mean, in general, I didn't always know this, but when I see stuff happening to people, the media covers it up. They say, it doesn't matter, it's fine, this and that. I know what's really going on. It's like, it's a cash cow, because regardless of what happens, the media can cover it up. If they just cover it all up, just like they did with this story. And then a year later, they switched the narrative. They said, oh, actually, we might have been wrong. Maybe that happens in 2 years. Maybe it doesn't. But I've watched multiple things. I mean, I've seen commercials about asbestos. They once told you that was safe. Tobacco. They once told you that was safe. All of these products, I mean, they don't have an 100% track record. Every 10 years, we learn more. If you Google, they're telling everybody to do hand sanitizer. I was never doing that much hand sanitizer. I wash my hands, of course, but I've heard stories about hand sanitizer my whole life. And if you look up, I'm just going to Google it really quick. This is, let me see, hand sanitizer, carcinogens, cancer. This is just recently. Let me see. It says health.com, newsweek.com. Let's see, newsweek.com. This is March 31st, 2021, just a few months ago. 21 hand sanitizers found to have high levels of cancer-causing chemicals. So for months, they told you, put on hand sanitizer. And now they're telling you, whoops, over 20 of the companies that we probably allowed you to rub on your hands have carcinogens in them that cause cancer. I already knew this stuff, so I don't use hand sanitizer that much. I wash my hands with like organic soap or at least regular soap, and that's more trustworthy. So it's like, you're just going to be another statistic on a commercial. Oops. Oh, well, now you can watch TV in 3 years and they'll be like, did you take this product that we told you to take during the pandemic? Well, you might be liable for this and this and this, except for the V's. With the V's, they're not liable. So you'll probably never see a commercial like that because they don't have to pay you. They don't have to tell you. And that's the world we're living in. So if people don't get this, I mean, and now they're being forced it, militaries basically being held for ransom, saying, well, you don't have to get the vaccine, but if you don't get the vaccine, you can't leave the base. If you don't get the vaccine, you can't go here. If you don't get the vaccine, you can't go to the gym. So a lot of people are either dropping out or getting the vaccine because they can't do any. They're basically threatening them with mental and physical abuse if they don't get vaccinated. Meanwhile, they have no liability for what, I mean, this is all so corrupt. If they had liability or everything was optional, I don't care. Yeah, take it. I don't care if 50 million people take it, but it's not, we don't have an option. We're being held for ransom. You know, it's like, oh yeah, you could not take an anomaly, but then you might not be able to fly eventually. You definitely can't go on a cruise. You can't go here. You can't go there. We'll make you leave a mask on. You can't come to the stadium unless you sit in this section. We're having a segregated serf tier society for people who are educated enough to say, you know what, I'd rather wait a few years, or you know what, I've seen the death rate. I've seen the obesity rates and why people are dying and getting hurt. And I would feel better if I just worked out, ate healthier, and didn't, get this injection. But maybe I'll get another one. I'm not anti-vaxxer. I'm just kind of, I don't feel like, I don't think, I'm not comfortable with this one right now. And it's totally okay to do that for one of several reasons, but we don't have an option. So, not to talk about Trump again, but he's the leader of the freedom movement. He brought this here and he won't even talk about it. And then you guys make excuses for it. You're not impressing anybody that's like a good person. You're only impressing people that are brainwashed by their cultism over a character that they're more obsessed with than they are with their constitution, their country, and the future of what's in hold for America because of the wicked things that Trump was a part of. So it's bigger than me, in my opinion. It's bigger than Trump and his legacy. It's like, how many people are going to suffer because of the wicked things that he did that he is wildly proud about, yet has no energy or time to talk about all of the wicked things that are happening with the product, So I don't care what people think. I don't care who's upset. It's like someone said it's a social caste system. That's exactly what's happening. I mean, it's a segregated society now of you bow down to the new big pharma product that's emergency use authorized, in which the companies have no liability for, in which one of them we shut down for a week and then yelled at people who talked about it, or you could be free if you get the product and are fully. It's like, this is the biggest thing that's happened in my lifetime as far as changing my life drastically, the lockdowns and the vaccine psychosis push. And, I've never told people to get it or to not get it. I don't give advice here. I don't give medical advice, but personally, I'm not getting it. I'll never get it. I don't want to. And I never even really told people live very many times because I don't like to, it's not, you could talk to your family, someone you trust in the medical field, that's fine. But the more they push like this, like, I'm definitely not getting it. And I'm not going to be a slave or a prisoner too. And my reason for not getting it is, first of all, with the Moderna and the Pfizer, just this is a personal thing. I love my body. I mean, I'm not like obsessed with it. I'm not a weirdo, but like, I like my mRNA in my body. I already have messenger RNA, and I've never heard that I had a problem with it. I've never had a problem with my immune response. I've never even got COVID-19 despite traveling all over the country and shaking thousands of hands. And I changed my lifestyle. I eat better. I think better. I do smarter things when it comes in regards to partying. I'm not all over the place. And I haven't been sick in 4 or 5 years. And I'm reading, friends that I know have gotten more sick off of this product than I have gotten since I was like 23 or 24. I don't want to subject my body to that. But also, my mRNA is good. I don't feel the need. I mean, if people want to do this, I could see the benefit for some, I guess. But I don't want to inject my body with fake synthetic mRNA. That sounds like, for me, a terrible idea. And obviously, I hope it goes well. But when I see people losing their hearing, and Jimmy Dore's been sick for a month and he's trying to talk about it and everybody's yelling about it, instead of listening to him and being like, hey, Jimmy, sorry that happened. We'll try to get to the bottom of it. They're like, shut up, Jimmy. This is fine. This is what it is. You're supposed to feel like that. It's like, you are? Because I don't like getting sick, and I haven't felt sick in a long time. I'm very fortunate and blessed, but I also take care of myself. And if you look at the COVID numbers, there's a reason most people hospitalized were obese. There's a reason that all the deaths were in obese country, because that's the big driving factor there. And, if it's not that, it's elderly. And elderly is a driving factor in most death, because any sort of, respiratory illness like a COVID-19 is going to, affect the elderly harsher most of the time. That's just like how it works when you get older. It's the same reason why, Michael Jordan isn't as good at basketball as he used to be. Why? Is there something wrong with him? Does he need something? No, he's getting older. And that's just what happens to the human body. That's the cycle of life. and your body wears down over time. So there's nothing wrong with Michael Jordan. He's just older. So if Michael Jordan gets the pneumonia when he's 80, it's going to be tougher for him to recover than when he was 20. Like, that's not great. I mean, this is just manipulation of statistics. Oh, well, this, we're testing. Yeah, most of the deaths were obese, and then it's elderly. So it's like, that's not right. That's everything. That's the cycle of life, unfortunately. So they don't care. They don't want to get people more fit. They just want to get people in line for their product. It's so devious. So, I mean, I don't care what they do anymore. Candace Owens did a good piece on it. There's a lot of brave people talking about it, but the more that they push and the more that they threaten and the more that they hold people for ransom, the more I don't want to get it, the more I will never get it. And I don't care what the cost is. I'm not saying I'm going to do this because I love America, but I would leave the state. I would leave the city. I would not fly. I will do anything to not take it because I am not going to be faced with the opportunity of either you could be a free citizen who lives normal, or you have to get an injection whenever we tell you at any time with any product, regardless of how many trials it was, regardless of whether it's approved or not, regardless of what technology it is. At a certain point, I don't subscribe to this ideology. I think what they're doing is wicked. So it makes me not want to do it 20 times more. And I obviously talk about it, but I've never given people advice what to do. I don't give medical advice, but I do say, hey, look into this. And, I think you should educate yourself instead of just listening to like Selena Gomez and Jimmy Kimmel. I think you should do the research and look at the CNBC article on liability. Look at, the track record of Johnson & Johnson. Look at the track record of Pfizer. Look at the track record of Bayer. Although they don't have a product, I mean, if you look at this industry, they're not batting 100 or 1,000. It's not even close. They have some good products for sure, but the less liability they have, the more they have immunity to just do whatever they want. I'm thinking just naturally, the less, there's certain things they're going to care about, because why would you? I mean, that's just human nature. It's like the government. Why is the government corrupt? Well, one of the reasons is, they get trillions of dollars whenever they want and can just print money. So if you work your ass off and you get incentivized with bonuses, you work harder. If you could make 1,000 times more money than you make at your job and not have to do any physical labor, all you have to do is lie to people on television, and then you get $1 billion the next year from other people's money, essentially theft, it doesn't matter. I destroyed California, but look at our budget. We get more tax money. That's kind of why government's corrupt. One of the few reasons is they're incentivized to not do anything. It's like certain companies and certain, agencies and stuff. It's like, if you don't spend all the money, you don't get the budget next year. So I've been at companies before where it's like, you want to advertise, you want to spend the money, because if you spend 20 million instead of 40 million, then next year they look at the budget and say, well, you don't need 40 million. You only spend 20 million. So there's incentive, not just in government, but at a lot of corporations, to make sure you spend all the money. And government just spend. They're so bad at what they do. Obama spent God knows how much money on a website that didn't even work at first. I mean, that you could probably build with $1 million or $2 million max. And he had way more than that. That's government. They don't feel any need to do that great of a job, because they'll always get the money again. That every year there's a bill or whatever it is sitting for them, $1 billion or $1 trillion thing of taxpayer money, of people who actually worked their asses off and got taxed 10, 20, 30, 40%. So it's the same thing, I would think, with any industry. So it's not like I'm anti this or anti that, but when it comes to big pharma, I would think if they had liability for their product and they could face a lawsuit for injuries or deaths caused by the thing and side effects, they would be a lot more hesitant to put out a product with side effects, because, or at least they would have to name them and tell you this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. Check with your doctor. Make sure you're not this. Make sure you're not that. Make sure you haven't taken this medication. Make sure your body type's not. That's what they do for every pill. But for the vaccines, they just say, no, it's for everybody. One size fits all. It's good, good, good. There's nothing that can happen. And then behind closed doors, they say, well, yeah, we know it. We know that there's going to be some problems because we need indemnification. We need to make sure we have the PrEP Act and the NCVIA. We need all this in line because we don't want to be sued. And then they put this product out and say, it's perfect. Go get it. No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Well, if it didn't happen, then why don't you have liability? They don't have liability because they know that it could happen. It has happened, and it's been covered by mainstream news, including CNN. Mike Wallace used to cover this all the time. People who'd been injured, corruption at the CDC and Big Pharma. You could find videos of them covering it, and that people admitting like, yeah, we lied, we made a mistake, or we got caught, or whatever. Sorry. and that's why they passed all these things. So it's not just like anti this or anti that. It's just human nature. If you have no liability, or like the government, you just get money, regardless of what you do, you're going to slow down your production. It's like, it's not good. It's not good business. So that's how I feel personally. Is someone said fear. Well, that's what they do. I'm not saying fear with this. I'm rational. I'm not afraid running in circles, but I'm not going to be a second tier citizen because I'm, more educated than most people on the product. Anybody in person, and this is for these journalists, and then I really got to get out of here. These journalists who write these articles and call me a conspiracy theorist or an anti-vax, I'm none of the sorts. I've never taken these titles. I don't even believe that these words make any sense because you just expand and contract the definition when it's convenient for you. But they have to just use these words that mean nothing, because if I actually sat down with them, I'd blow them out of the water. I got called by one chick one time, I can't remember, but she's like, "You're an anti-vaxxer." And I just like calmly was like, "No." And I was like, did you know this? And no. Did you know this? No. Do you know what the NCVIA is? No. Do you know what the PrEP Act is? No. Have you ever heard, have you looked up the history of Pfizer and what they've settled out in court for? No. Did you know about J&J with their baby powder lawsuits? No. Did you know that Bayer once had a pill that had this in it that they gave to foreign countries, and knowingly so, according to no. So you don't know anything. No. Oh, so you just believe what the television said. Yeah. So it's like, that's why they have to use these names on you, is because they don't know anything. I know things. I know, there's an educated and a reason that I do this. Did you know that 78% of hospitalizations, according to the CDC, or 76, I can't remember, I think it's 78. Did you know that it's obesity? No. Did you know most of the deaths from, no. You don't know anything. You just flop with the wind, and they say, experts say it wasn't a lab leak. Experts say it could have been a lab leak. Fauci says it can't be. Fauci said it could be. Fauci says don't wear a mask. It doesn't even matter, even in the height of the pandemic. Fauci says do wear a mask. It does matter in the pandemic. Experts say wear 2 masks. Experts say wear a mask. Experts say get vaccinated. Experts say wear your mask after you get vaccinated. Experts say don't wear your mask after you get vaccinated. Well, I want to wear my mask now because I don't want to look like a Republican. This isn't science. This is mass brainwashing. This is like mass mind control on people who don't know anything about anything. It's so obvious. So, that's why they have to write these articles about me. I mean, luckily no one cares about them, so it doesn't really matter. But, if they get more aggressive or something, I'll have to respond and just make a video or whatever, maybe seek legal advice if they keep libeling me and defaming me and I could prove it, which I do and I can, and I have all the screenshots. So they're lucky I'm busy. And honestly, I just don't want to waste time and money. But, in general, it's like they can't sit down with me. They couldn't have a conversation because I could print out 30 things from mainstream news sources, including their own, and make my argument off that. And their argument is, you're a this, you're a that, you're a this, you're a that. It doesn't, what does that mean? I could say you're a science denier. Well, let's talk about the science. It's all a joke, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And I will have a new video tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, my video is going to talk about the flip-flop on the fact check from Facebook and the media. Everything that they tried to cover up last year, everything that they censored me for on multiple videos, even libeling me and defaming me with their fact checkers, saying, you said this when I never even said that. That's called a straw man argument. I make a video and they say, well, you said this. That's not in the video at all. Well, this, I never said that either. Well, I never. So that's called a straw man. I don't know about the legality of it, but they fact checked one of my videos 3 times. They fact checked another video and then deleted it, and then deleted the other video. And the reason that they did it is now something that's coming out in Reuters, that's coming out of Fauci's mouth. They're all admitting what they tried to cover up. I have the receipts. I have the videos. I have the proof. I have all the old clips of what they did to my page because I told the truth about it and speculated accurately and honestly and rationally and slowly. I didn't make any claims. I just talked about the possibility. Now it's all coming out, and I wonder what they're going to do about it now because they know that they were in the wrong, and Vox and all these websites that were trying to shut it down. Now they're going back and editing all their old articles. Like, it's like, yeah, you got to edit all that stuff. My video that they censored, I don't have to edit. Nothing I said in that video is wrong to this day. You can watch that whole video if you can find it. The whole thing is still accurate. How come they always have to change things and edit? Who gave them the power to do this? Why are they allowed to shut people down? Why I don't get it. I guess they have Section 230 on their side or something, but it's really leading to covering up stories, authoritarianism. Like, they are so loose and so sloppy. And when they fact check, I feel like 90-something% seem to go in one direction. They would rather cover up your story if you're factually right and Jen Psaki or the White House is wrong. They'd rather cover up your story with a fake fact check than actually fact check the White House, because they don't care about the facts. They don't care about the truth. They care about pushing their narrative, whether it's their medical narrative or their political narrative, and anybody else creating straw man PolitiFact articles saying things that most people aren't saying to debunk that. But then, I mean, just to give you one example, because I got a lot of energy today, there's one about plasma. So there's a certain type of plasma. I forget the exact name of it. Not regular plasma, but there's a specific type of plasma that if you were vaccinated, they don't want it. You could give plasma if you were vaccinated, but I forget the name of it. There's a specific type that you can't, and it's on the news and they admit it. And they say, if you got vaccinated, we don't want that form of plasma. So they did a fact check on it. They said, fact check, can you give plasma if you were vaccinated? It says fact check true or fact check false. No, you can give plasma. And then if you scroll down 4 paragraphs, it says, but if you do, if you have this specific type of plasma, yet they don't want it from you, and they explain in the news why. They're like, well, technically your antibodies are not the same in this particular thing. So it's like they make this straw man argument that a lot of people, I mean, some probably are, but most people are not saying. And then they say, well, yeah, that's false. But it's like, what about this argument that no, you're not admitting that, like, there is a specific type of it that you can't give at the moment until they study more. So it's like, they're not trying to accurately tell people. It's just like push a narrative, make everybody seem crazy, and then admit that they were wrong or misleading like 6 months down the road. Is very annoying. Oh, convalescent. That's what it is. Yeah, convalescent plasma. So if you have regular plasma and you're vaccinated from now, you can give it. But if you have convalescent plasma, I mean, there's news things where they say, yeah, we're only taking it from unvaccinated people. So the article says, fact check, and then 5 hours. Well, technically, I mean, if it's convalescent plasma, I mean, you can. Or it's like, we get it. We know what you're doing, but appreciate you guys. See, I have a very bright audience. Every time I don't know something or I mess up, everybody's on it. I try not to mess up that much because I know the stakes are high, but when I do mess up on something, a caption, or it's not very common on Facebook because I really try to slow down because I know how crazy it is. But any times I have or I don't know, people are right there. They're like, Anomaly, this is off. You spelled this wrong. Like, thank you guys so much. I'm glad that I've attracted such a smart audience where anytime I'm like, they're like, this is wrong. I'm like, we don't have a lot of liars here. We have a lot of people who know their stuff. So I got like 30 comments. Everybody knew immediately what I was talking about. Someone said, LOL, we're high IQ. Well, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for being on it. And God bless you. Have a good day. And I appreciate your support, your watching, your help, your info. That's what it is. Tomorrow, my best video of the week is coming out. We're talking about Facebook covering up a story that Reuters is now admitting. Should be a fun one. Have a good day. I'll be back very, very soon.